Hi.
Hey, Ellen, it appears as though I managed to hang up on you when you called.
That's okay. How are you doing today?
I think I'm doing pretty good. How do you think you're doing?
I am doing wonderful. Can you hear me okay? Is the connection good?
Yeah, I can hear you okay. I think we're on a little bit of a delay. I don't think the connection's the best thing
Oh,
ever, but I think it's probably good enough.
okay. Hey, JP, do you mind if I record this?
Yeah, of
Video
course.
record it?
Go ahead
Okay,
by all
cool.
means.
Yay. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be connecting with you. I feel so lucky.
Oh, yay. Well, I'm honored to know that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Where are you right now in physical space?
Right, in physical space. I like that disclaimer. Right now, I'm at my home in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, cool. Have you been traveling a lot for your book?
Yeah, a fair bit. I've yeah, fair bit, and I was just in New York this past weekend, and I'll be going back to New York on Sunday, and then from there it'll be I think a five city sort of deal within the next week. Actually, I'm doing an event here in Charleston on Saturday, then to New York on Sunday, and then what the heck is it? Austin, then Phoenix, then California, uh, San Diego. I think that's all the cities I'm doing here in this next little leg.
This is really cool.
So,
How does it feel? Do you feel like, does it feel successful? What's it been like for you to release this book and be traveling
well,
around?
I apologize, Ellen. The connection's breaking up a fair bit. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to turn my video off to see if that improves the bandwidth of the audio.
All right.
And okay, let's see how this goes.
That actually does sound better, huh?
Yeah, so far a little bit better on my end too.
Yes, I was just,
Yeah, so would you mind repeating the question? I apologize, I didn't catch any of it.
that's okay. I was just curious how it's been for you to release the book. Are you feeling successful? What's been your experience?
Yeah, I think a couple things come up for me about that. The the book, to me, the most joyful part of the book
Hmm.
that made me the I mean, to me, let's see, that's none of that's English. I'm trying to say seven things at one time. To me, the most successful aspect of the book and what felt the most joyful for me was well before it launched when I
Hmm.
finished writing it. And honestly, I think the writing process was even more joyful than the now it's done process. So to me, the book was a win before it even came out. And why
Wow.
it is that way for me is it was kind of like a hero's journey writing the book
Uh,
where it was a big challenge. I had never written a book before, and I got to go places inside of myself to sort of mine wells of creativity that I hadn't been to before. So it was a win before it was even released, and that like I feel so grateful that's how it is for me with the book. And then as it's been released, I think the sort of the external expression of the book, it's selling and what people are saying about it has been just a wonderful cherry on top. I'm
mm.
very pleased with how it's been going since it's
Where
been
did you
released.
write it?
I most of the book I wrote here at my home in Charleston. I let's see, I started writing it, I believe, in, I want to say late July of 2015, and then finished it in October of 2015. And then, of course, there was, editing and lots of refining, but finishing the first draft of it, to me, that was the big thing. And
Mm.
for almost all of that, I was here at my home
So cool. Well, so what I do is I am a coach for people who want to do what they love or are doing what they love, and they just hit the normal blocks, limits, fears that come up when we choose to do that. And I actually am coming and starting to think that just in life in general, we're going to hit points where we feel limited or blocked or stuck and fearful. And so my thought is like, why not do what you love anyway? So what I usually do, I mean, I'm just, this is like natural line of questioning, and so curious about your life and experience. And but yeah, so I have a set of questions that I would love to ask you. I also do what I love, which I'm a singer and a performer, and I incorporate guided visualization and meditation and intention setting into my shows. So it's a really interactive experience, which is like a new tradition of performance, which is kind of in the vein of Ayla Nario, if you've heard of her.
I can't say I have, but I love how you're describing your process.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I would love to. I know that these are really personal questions, so feel free to take them how you want and give examples that really feel like grounded in your own self-love. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you'll feel comfortable with whatever's out there if you feel already like you can hold these experiences. So just remember that. And yeah, the first question is, so I'll tell you all three and then you can kind of guide your response. But the first question is, tell me about a time you felt fear or fearful. And then what were three things that you do or would recommend that other people do to kind of navigate through and beyond the fear so that you can live your life and do what you want and bring your gifts and all of that. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? And then
yeah,
the
that
last one is just self promotion. You can tell me what's like new and exciting for you.
I love that. Yeah, so many times I've felt fear. I think let me just start with the most recent. Last night I released a video on gun control where I'm taking a satirical look at some of the mentality, then the dogmas, sort of the traditional thinking surrounding our gun control laws.
Yeah.
And I will say before I actually get to my fears, I certainly don't know what the solution is. I don't know that anybody knows, but I do know there's a problem. People killing the hell out of each other in mass public shootings. There is something that needs to change. So
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted to
terrifying. Yeah.
yeah, so I like it or not, I was just called to voice some perspectives through a video for the purpose of creating a conversation, but also hopefully inspiring us as a collective to rethink our thinking, to be less self-identified with our old complacent thinking around guns.
Yeah.
So, with that said, it was scary for me to release the video because I think guns are something very similar to religion and sometimes nutrition, where people's
Nutrition.
rational, yeah, they're actually just religions, but we use three different words to describe them. I think it's very easy around any of these topics for people's rational thinking to temporarily be suspended while they go into a fit of emotionally charged outrage. And and to and to me, it's scary when people are angry, outraged, offended because how dare you see something different than the way I do? How dare you uh, question how I see things? How dare you ask me to question how I do things? So you don't get a conversation; you get an emotionally charged reaction. So
Yeah.
anyway, I know guns is one of the hot religious topics for people, but I have a voice that wants to be voiced, even though it's scary sometimes. So there was a lot of fear last night in me publishing the video, and uh, in order to honor my voice, my heart, and my creative spirit, I have to do it anyway.
Hmm.
So for me, the helpful solution to doing things I'm afraid of, and in this case, publishing a video that I know will trigger a lot of people, and it has. The solution for me is being willing to feel my fear.
Yeah.
Here, I think trying to bypass our fears means we will be somehow avoiding doing the things that will provoke our fears. And I think that means we're living our life in an avoidance posture. And I think we deserve better than that. So to me, the solution to fears is be willing to feel them and the
Mm.
discomforts of them. You know, the thing about fear, it's a primal emotion that essentially says, whatever I'm afraid of might kill me.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you take fear to the nth degree, and it's what happens.
Yeah.
However, my experience is 99.9% of the things that I get afraid of aren't actually going to kill me.
Mm.
Publishing a video that scares me, it's not going to kill me. So for me, being willing to regularly do things that scare me, one, not only allows me to do them and to have the experience of them and grow from them,
Mm-hmm.
but it also teaches me the things I'm scared to death of aren't going to kill me, uh, at least most of the time. So that to me is very important, to regularly exercise my willingness to do the things that I'm afraid of rather than just living in complacency in the coffin of my comfort zone.
Mm. Wow, beautifully said. You're actually sitting, the computer's sitting on a stack of Trungpa books. He's a Tibetan monk that came over in the 70s. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he was one of the main teachers that talked about bypassing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I totally. So basically, what I'm hearing you say is that when you turn towards the fear and you actually feel it, you can determine if it's one of that 99% that is actually going to kill you or not. And then through feeling the feelings, you get to tease it apart. And yeah, I'm wondering maybe like more about what's in the process of actually feeling the fear. What do you do? Do you just breathe? Do you think? Or do you just notice what's happening in your system? And then what's the next step do you make after that?
Sure. Well, to me, it's at least 90% feeling. But
Mm.
to me, the only thinking that comes in and is in the beginning with a sensible level of discernment. I'll think, is this actually going to kill me? And like we said, 99% of the time, it won't.
Mm.
But if I was standing on the edge of a cliff, looking into jagged rocks, like, yeah, that would actually kill me. So that's where thinking comes in. Once I
Yeah.
have, well, yeah, my discernment says I'm actually safe, even though I feel like I'm unsafe. Then for me, yes, feeling the feelings, and to me, first of being aware, like, yes, I'm afraid. It's easy for me to be emotionally disconnected and essentially
Mm.
avoiding my fears by even, not even knowing they're there.
Right.
So being aware that I'm afraid, and then feeling the body sensations of them, like where it tingles in the body, getting really primal with it
Mm.
and sitting with it, breathing with it, for me is very important. And a bonus that to me typically will enhance it, though it won't take the place of just feeling the body sensations and breathing with it, is voicing it to someone who uh, is a safe space.
Mm. Someone you
Someone who
trust.
can, yeah, someone who isn't going to violate me by trying to rescue me or make my fears go away. Like to me, that actually is very violating, even though it's disguised as rescuing.
Yeah, that's
And,
a
and
really interesting word to use. I think it's appropriate.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to me, it is a quite a violation when we become vulnerable and then someone else tries to make us feel differently. They try to change us because they
Mm.
don't like how we feel. You know, they might feel afraid of our fears, so they'll try to change our fear, and that's it's not safe to be vulnerable with those people.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, someone who can have a safe, provide safe space and understand and listen and acknowledge our feelings is important. And to me, last night, that's my girlfriend. She's wonderful with it. So voicing it to another one of these things called a human being for me is very helpful. And not again not for getting away from the fear, but it's helpful to go into the fear even more
Mm.
in my
Hmm.
experience.
So rather than trying to fix or change or get rid of the fear, you're just feeling it, and actually sharing that with someone is a way to um, be held in what you said, a safe space with another person and be with it together. Is that right?
That's 100% my delusional thinking for sure.
Oh, that's wonderful. So take me through to when you actually published the video, from that point of like, sharing it, and then what happens next.
Yeah, so there's waves. So I published the video, and I scheduled it to be published at like 9 p.m. last night. And then my girlfriend and I were in the movie theater watching Wonder Woman last night. Wonderful movie, by the way.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, watching it when the the video was published, and about, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes into it, I started getting text messages from my assistant, and letting me know some people are really losing their shit over the video, which is absolutely fine. And she wasn't trying to inflame the situation. She just wanted to keep me in the loop. And then, I looked at the text messages, and wow, I feel all these tingles through me, the fire, and
Yeah.
my imagination goes like, oh, did I cross a line? This is what's going to happen. I need to go look at the comments. And I didn't go look at the comments, but instead I sat there breathing,
Mm.
feeling the heat sensations and the tingles that are how the fear registers in my body. And I said, okay. And then, throughout the rest of the movie, I felt my phone buzzing several more times, and I didn't check it. I think at that point, checking my phone, what's my assistant saying now?
Mm.
It would just be a way to try to, um, I don't know, cover up some of my fear and temporarily escape it. So, when the phone would buzz, even though I wasn't checking it, I would just feel the fear. And, the fear is a little bit of a product of what my imagination thinks
Mm-hmm.
might happen, what are other people thinking what might happen. So lots of waves of feeling came up for me last night.
Wow. It's really, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's also kind of heartening to hear that you're still pushing yourself. Like you've achieved a certain level of fame and interest in your work, and you're still pushing yourself in a way that gets you to the edge where you're taking risks that are new to you. It's
Yeah, well,
exciting
yeah,
too.
I appreciate you seeing that, Ellen, and that excites me too. When I, like 2.5 years ago, when I just talk more about myself here, when I started
That's the whole
doing
point of this. It's okay.
when I started doing the comedy videos 2.5 years ago, and they were principally all like spiritually oriented, that was really a step into a fear zone for me.
Mm,
And are people going to think like I'm ridiculing spirituality? Like, it's all very important stuff for me, but
yeah.
still the fears about what are other people going to think. Um, those would come up for me, and then after a while, it became incredibly comfortable for me to make videos on this spiritual realm, and then some in the nutritional realm. And then, I think there's maybe something inside all of us, but I'll own it instead of just projecting myself onto everybody. That there's a force of creativity, as well as what I'll say uh, is also our voice. It always wants to expand. I think
Mm-hmm.
nature always wants to expand. It's like you go to the jungle and you just see, well, okay, this is nature expanding. And I think that's an outer reflection of our inner nature. It always wants to expand. So, the past 6 months, I've noticed like what I feel inspired to make videos on, voice my voice, and express creativity on is they're things that are oftentimes outside the realm of the new age culture. It
Mm.
might be a cause like Standing Rock. It
Yeah.
might be something around the election. And then also lately, they've been videos that are more deliberately about our psychological dynamics. Recently, there was a video on passive aggressive relationship techniques, one on how to win people's excuse me, win people's approval, and then one last night on gun control. So
Mm.
the continual discomfort. For me, it's the evidence that I'm not standing still. I'm doing my best to say yes to the expansion of the voice and creativity that wants to come through me. I think it'd be very comfortable. Like, okay, I keep making videos just on this spiritual culture. I've proven I can do that pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll feel safe and comfortable and predictable. But I think if I'm staying in my comfort zone, then the scary question to ask is, what am I becoming?
Hmm.
And I think not much is the answer. And I think, what am I becoming? It's not so much a question like, well, I'm not becoming anything more than I am, therefore it's a failure. No, I think it's more like I'm not realizing any more than I already think I am. So I think our comfort zone isn't to make ourselves any bigger than what we are. I think it's leaving our comfort zone is designed to help us discover the bigness that we are. And to me, that's the process of self-realization.
Beautiful. Um, yeah, so I actually asked my audience if they had any questions for you, and one of them is about I think in your work you talk a lot about your thoughts on organized religion, which was one of the questions. But the more interesting part of the question to me was Rob wanted to know if you pray.
That's a good question. Um, you know, I don't know what praying means to Rob.
Right, me
Uh,
neither.
you
I
talk
didn't
to a
ask him.
Christian, you talk to a hippie, you talk to anybody. So I typically don't use the word pray with what I do.
Mm,
Uh, you know, uh, Setting intentions is often the vocabulary running in my mind. And I also think intentions are very synonymous with prayer.
yeah.
To me, setting an intention or a prayer, it's not asking for destiny to alter itself. It's
Mm,
asking myself to have the sensitivity to realize an experience that I want to have that's already there and available for me to draw from. It's just, I want to bring my awareness so I can notice that spectrum of life. And to
wow.
me, that's what a prayer or an intention is. It's not, I know my ego would love to say, like, oh, yeah, an intention and a prayer, that's me having control over the universe. That's me basically making God my slave and I'm the master and saying, this is what I want you to do, dear universe or God.
Hmm.
No, I think that's not where I come from, nor do I think we can control the universe, even though our control freak egos would maybe love to. But to me, a true prayer or intention is one of humbleness, where we ask to realize a spectrum of what already is. Um, it's not something that we create, in my opinion. Maybe the awareness of it is what we create.
That was an incredibly articulate and like well crystallized thought. That intention is to have the sensitivity to realize an experience that's already there. That's so beautiful.
Oh, Well, thank you.
That just come off the top of your head. It's
I'm
amazing.
just reading off the script right now.
Oh, okay. And one last question. Allison wants to know if you could have anyone guest star on your show or your short video clips, who would it be and why? And I'm sure this answer would change over time, but right now, who would it be and why?
Yeah, it would be Kyle Cease. Do you know who he is?
I love Kyle Cease. He's hilarious. He's so wonderful
He
too.
is he is amazing. So it would be Kyle Cease, and to me the whys are just obvious because he's funny as hell and he is insightful as hell. And Kyle and I think it was in February we had a chance to get together. We've just become great friends.
Mm.
We just the him being busy, me being busy, even when we're in the same town, at times we just haven't yet had a chance to create the time to collaborate on videos. But when that happens, it'll be a real uh, treat for me. I so admire what he does and how he does it. I
Mm.
feel very inspired by him, and based on what he tells me, the perspective is mutual. So
Aw.
yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that collaboration.
Wonderful. Cool. Well, is there anything that is exciting and new for you that you want to share up and coming? I guess you kind of did your gun control video, your book. Is there anything
Yeah,
else that you want us to know about?
there's definitely things down the pipeline, but I think for me the most exciting part is I guess, the evolution of creativity and perspective that's being shared through videos.
Mm.
That's
Shoot, I think you cut
Oh,
out.
are you still there, Ellen? I
What'd
think
you
we got.
say?
I Cool. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Cool. And did you hear the entirety of my rambling answer?
No.
Oh,
Please
okay.
tell me again.
So, yeah, my rambling answer is what excites me most now is the evolution of creativity and perspectives
Mm.
that has to do with the videos. So that's what's exciting me the most present day.
So cool. Well, I'm actually working on my own video, and it's going to be
Yay!
1 hour long and a combination of my work. So I'm working on a Kickstarter for that right now to get that launched. So
Congratulations.
I feel the same
That's great.
way. Thank you. Thank you about the video. I think video is a really effective way to reach people and a really fun way. And it just makes all of this information so accessible to so many people. And that is so cool.
For sure. Yeah, it truly is a canvas for us to paint on.
Yeah.
And I think each type of canvas, be it a painting canvas, music,
Mm.
dance, each canvas has its unique attributes. And one of the unique attributes about video, just to state the obvious, is there's a lot of dimensions of communication that can be embedded in that canvas, communication and expression. So, yeah, please enjoy how you
Yeah.
frolic on your canvas of video.
Thank you. Any last words, thoughts, words of encouragement for people out there?
Yes. My last one would be an invitation to do your best to honor who you really are, not who you want to be.
Beautiful. Thank you. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellen. I
Such a
think you're
delight.
amazing too, and yeah, I appreciate you inviting me to be a part of this and an aspect of your offering to the world. And you and I, we met at the Boulder Book Launch. Is that true?
That's right. I was nearly last in line.
So we're 2 hours deep in line, and
Yeah.
I was in some kind of a extroverted coma at that point. Luckily, I could still talk.
Trance state. Yeah, it was really amazing to see you speak and to get to meet you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had that event, that crowd was just very joyful to
Yeah.
be swimming in that whole ocean of people and consciousness.
Yeah.
Well, sister, thank you again for this.
Yeah.
And are you going to be behaving yourself for the rest of your day?
I'll probably try to get into some musical trouble and yeah, I try not to behave really.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. What about you? What's next for you?
Let's see, I've got a meeting coming up, a couple additional interviews, and uh, let's see, some some other stuff that's a little bit more on the mundane side, um, involving me staring at my computer. So nothing too earth shattering, but I think it
Oh,
will be a good day, and for my delusional judgment, it already is a pretty good day.
wonderful. Well, thanks again, and I know your time's precious, so thanks again for sharing it with me.
Oh, you're welcome, as is your time, and I appreciate you sharing some of your time, space, motion, and thoughts with me.
All right. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, Alan. You too,
Bye.
sister. See ya.